Betrayal. Lies. Dangerous secrets too dark to be revealed. Some decisions are made out of fear. Others, out of desperation. But what happens when these two emotions collide with the unrelenting reality of love, trust, and the law? When the lie gets entangled with the truth and the consequences become irreversible? What seemed like a perfect romance, the dream of a lifetime together, ended in tragedy, leaving lives shattered and exposing the darkest corners of the human soul. This is the story of Danielle Harper and Michael Simons. A tale of passion, turned into a nightmare. Of hidden truths with catastrophic consequences. And of a love story that, bit by bit, became national headline news. What began as a fairy tale became a labyrinth of secrets, where every lie dug deeper into their lives. Prepare yourself. Because this story doesn't just ask what happened. It demands that you understand why, and in the end, you may ask yourself, how well do you really know the people you love most? On September 15, 2025, Danielle Harper, a 29-year-old talented ballerina, and Michael Simons, a 31-year-old software engineer, were about to celebrate what seemed to be a dream wedding. They met in 2018, at a charity gala dedicated to technological innovation, where the world seemed to be at their feet. Dani, a charming woman with her radiant smile and talent for dance, and Michael, a man with a calm spirit and sharp intelligence, seemed like the perfect couple. To everyone's eyes, they had it all: beauty, success, and the love of a lifetime ahead of them. But while the world applauded their romance, Danielle was carrying a secret that could destroy everything she and Michael had built. In 2017, Dani was diagnosed with HIV, but instead of sharing this diagnosis with Michael, she chose to keep it a secret. She convinced herself she could live her life without telling him, that she could hide the truth and move on. The fear of losing Michael, the man she believed was her destiny, overwhelmed her in a crushing way. To Dani, life with Michael was perfect. But a true relationship requires trust, and the foundation of trust between them was slowly eroded by a series of lies. When she was diagnosed with HIV, she had the option to reveal the truth, but the thought of losing Michael paralyzed her. She had never known what she would do if he left her, and the thought of seeing him go made her lose herself. She chose to hide the diagnosis, believing that the love they shared could heal any wound. As Dani became more and more closed off in her world of lies, the man she had been involved with before Michael, Eric Lawson, started to become a threat. Eric was a 34-year-old real estate developer, with whom Dani had a complicated and tumultuous relationship. He knew about Dani's diagnosis and, at the peak of his revenge, began using this secret as a weapon against her. In 2020, he began sending a series of threatening messages, saying that if she didn't submit to his will, he would reveal her secret to Michael. "Michael needs to know who he's marrying," he wrote in one of the messages. It was the first sign that Dani's past was about to destroy her. She tried to ignore him, but Eric wouldn't stop. His threats became more frequent, and in October 2020, he took an even bolder step. He anonymously sent Michael an email claiming that Dani had HIV, suggesting that he get tested. Michael initially treated the message as a cruel joke. But as time passed, something didn't seem right. He couldn't stop thinking about what he had read. It was alarming news, but without clear proof. Doubt set in, and Michael decided to get tested. When the results came back, what he feared became real: Michael was HIV positive. The blow was devastating. Not only had he discovered he was infected, but also that his fiancée had hidden something so important from him. The trust between them was irreparably broken. For Michael, the pain wasn't just from the diagnosis, but from the betrayal. He couldn't understand how Dani could hide something so crucial. Anger and pain mixed in his heart. He needed answers. Over time, the tension between them grew. One November night, Michael confronted Dani. He showed her the anonymous email and revealed the positive test result. Dani, trying to justify herself, claimed she was afraid of losing him and had never meant to hurt him. But her words felt empty, and Michael couldn't accept the apology. He began to suspect that there was something more hidden, something deeper, that she wasn't telling him. The following weeks were a constant struggle. Michael couldn't trust Dani. He pressured her more and more, demanding she tell the truth about her past. Dani, desperate to keep the relationship, became increasingly agitated. She knew Michael would never forgive her if he knew everything, and with each passing day, the weight of the lie consumed her more. By December 2020, things had reached a breaking point. Dani sought help at a psychotherapy clinic. She was overwhelmed with guilt and shame, but also terrified. She knew that if Michael found out what she had really done, it would be the end. But what she didn't know was that he was already closer to finding out than she imagined. He had hired a private investigator to uncover the truth. Dani's friends began to be questioned. Dani's medical records were being searched. In January 2021, Michael finally got the confirmation he was looking for. He found documents proving that Dani had known about her diagnosis for months before starting their relationship. He also discovered that she hadn't made the slightest effort to inform him of her health status, despite knowing the risks. Michael's pain turned into anger. What he felt for her was now a mix of betrayal and disillusionment. He could no longer believe anything she said. And when he finally decided to seek a divorce, he did something Dani never expected. He filed criminal charges accusing her of the intentional transmission of HIV. The pressure on Dani grew. She, who had until then tried to keep up appearances and live her life as if nothing had happened, found herself confronted with reality. Her career as a dancer began to crumble. She took a leave of absence from the ballet company and became increasingly isolated, not knowing how to deal with the storm that was approaching. The night of February 15 was the turning point. Dani knew there was no going back. She had become a broken woman, pressured from all sides. Imprisonment was imminent. She knew that with the evidence against her, the only way out was to destroy the man she loved most. What happened that night shocked the entire city. When the police arrived at Michael's apartment, they found his body in a brutal crime scene. He was lying on the floor, with 14 deep stab wounds, all directed at his chest and neck, as if the intent was not just to kill, but to eliminate any possibility of redemption. The murder weapon was found in Dani's hands. But what the investigators discovered was even more disturbing. She was visibly affected, with her hands and body covered in blood, but there were no signs of a struggle. No signs of defense. The scene was meticulously arranged, as if she already knew what to do. It was not an impulsive reaction, it was a planned action. Dani was arrested that same day. During the interrogation, she stuck to her version that she had acted in self-defense. But the evidence didn't lie. Security cameras revealed her leaving the apartment just moments before the murder, and she was seen buying rubber gloves and cleaning products. The amount of blood at the scene didn't indicate just a crime of rage, but a meticulously planned execution. Dani knew that by killing Michael, she was erasing the one person who could destroy her. But what she didn't realize was that her action would be the catalyst for a trial that would expose her completely. Danielle Harper's trial attracted nationwide attention. The premeditated murder charge was firm, and the evidence did not favor Dani. The defense lawyers tried to paint a picture of a desperate woman emotionally broken, but the forensic evidence, documents, and Eric Lawson's testimony against her left no room for doubt. Dani was sentenced to life in prison, but even behind bars, her past and the secrets of her life continued to haunt her. Dani and Michael's case is a cruel and painful reminder of how secrets can destroy anyone's life. When the truth finally comes to light, it is not only devastating, it is relentless. And sometimes, the greatest tragedy is not what we do to others, but what we do to ourselves when we choose to live with lies.